The Chef Who Lost Everything. Have you ever lost something so important that you forgot who you were? Maybe you had a dream once, a passion, a fire inside you, but life happened, tragedy struck, and slowly you became a shadow of the person you used to be. What if I told you that the person you used to be is still there, waiting in the quiet hours before dawn? This is the story of a man who lost everything in one night, but found himself again at 5 a.m. Stay with me, because this might be the story that saves your life. In a bustling city where restaurants lined every corner, there lived a 38-year-old man named Marcus. Marcus wasn't just any cook. He was a sous chef at Verde, one of the most prestigious restaurants downtown. For 12 years, he had worked his way up from line cook to second in command. His hands could dice an onion in 10 seconds. His palate could identify 15 different herbs in a single dish. He was respected. He was valued. He had a good salary, a fiancée named Sarah, and a wedding planned for spring. Marcus's life had rhythm and purpose. Every morning at 9 a.m. he'd arrive at Verde. By 10 a.m. he'd be prepping ingredients, teaching young cooks, creating specials. The kitchen was his kingdom. The sizzle of pans, the aroma of fresh herbs, the satisfaction of a perfect dish. This was his language, his God, his identity. But on a cold February night, everything changed. Marcus had gone home early that evening, unusual for him. At 2:37 a.m. his phone rang. It was the head chef, voice shaking. "Marcus, Verde is on fire. Electrical failure. The whole building." By the time Marcus arrived, fires were consuming his entire world. Firefighters worked through the night, but there was nothing to save. By dawn, Verde was gone. Just blackened walls and the smell of smoke. The restaurant that had been his home for over a decade had vanished in hours. The owner, devastated and uninsured for full replacement, couldn't rebuild. Just like that, Marcus and 30 other employees were jobless. "It's okay," Sarah said, holding his hand. "You're talented. You'll find something else." Marcus believed her. He sent his resume to every upscale restaurant in the city. He had experience, he had skills, he had references. But the culinary world is small and competitive. Every position had 50 applicants. Weeks passed, then months. His savings began to drain. The wedding was postponed, first to summer, then to someday. By month 4, Sarah's patience wore thin. One evening, she sat across from him at the small kitchen table. "Marcus, I love you, but I can't do this. I can't marry potential. I can't marry someday. I need stability." She left her engagement ring on the table and walked out. Marcus sat alone in the empty apartment, staring at the ring. In 6 months, he had lost his career, his savings, his fiancée, and his sense of self. 2 weeks later, he moved out of the apartment he could no longer afford and onto his sister's couch across town. Rock bottom has a specific feeling. It's the moment you realize you've become someone you don't recognize. For Marcus, that moment came when he stood in the kitchen of Betty's Diner, wearing rubber gloves, scrubbing grease off plates. He had taken a dishwashing job just to have some income. The same hands that once crafted delicate sauces were now elbow-deep in dirty dishwater. His shift was 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week. He'd wake up at 10 a.m., stumble to the diner, wash dishes for 10 hours, come home exhausted, watch Netflix until 2 a.m., and pass out on the couch. Wake up, repeat. He stopped cooking. He stopped tasting food. He stopped caring. His sister, Nina, watched him sink deeper. "Marcus, you're wasting your talent. This isn't you." "This is who I am now," he'd reply flatly, "a dishwasher." The worst part wasn't the work, it was the emptiness. Marcus avoided his former colleagues. When former culinary school friends called, he let it go to voicemail. He felt like a failure, and failures don't get to sit at the table with success. One night in late August, Marcus couldn't sleep. At 3 a.m., he gave up trying and went for a walk. The city was quiet, almost peaceful. As he wandered aimlessly through empty streets, he noticed a warm light glowing from a small bakery. The sign read, "Elena's." Through the window, he could see someone working. Curious, Marcus pushed open the door. A small bell chimed. A woman in her mid-50s looked up from a marble counter covered in dough. Flour dusted her forearms. Her eyes were kind but focused. "We're not open yet," she said gently, "but I look like you need coffee." Marcus almost declined, but something in her tone made him stay. "Thank you." She poured him a cup from a French press and returned to her work, shaping croissants with practiced precision. "It's 3:30 in the morning. Why are you working?" Marcus said. "Because this is when magic happens. No phones, no customers, no distractions. Just me and the dough." Marcus watched her work. Her hands moved with the same love and respect he used to have for food. "You really love this." "I do now," she said, "but I didn't always." She paused, wiped her hands, and sat across from him. 20 years ago, I was a corporate accountant, good salary, nice office, miserable life. Then I got laid off at 45, lost everything, savings gone, husband left. I ended up working 3 part-time jobs just to survive. Marcus felt a painful recognition. "So how did you— This," he gestured around the beautiful bakery. 5 a.m., Elena said simply. "I decided that if I was going to rebuild my life, I needed time that belonged only to me. So I started waking up at 5 a.m. From 5 to 7 a.m., I taught myself to bake, watched videos, practiced, failed, tried again. I did this while working my other jobs, 2 hours every single morning for 2 years. She pointed to the ovens, the display cases, the customers who would line up in a few hours. This entire bakery was built in those morning hours, not because I had money or help, because I had discipline. Marcus felt something he hadn't felt in months, a flicker of hope. Elena studied him. "You're a cook, aren't you? I can see it in how you watched me work." "I was," Marcus said quietly. "I was a sous chef. Now I wash dishes." Elena nodded slowly. "Come back tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. I'll show you what you're missing." The first week was brutal. Marcus woke at 4:45 a.m., worked with Elena until 7:30 a.m., went home to shower, then started his dishwashing shift at 11 a.m. By 9 p.m., he was destroyed. His body screamed for rest. But something strange happened around week 3. One morning, Marcus woke up at 4:42 a.m., 3 minutes before his alarm. His body had adapted, and for the first time in months, he didn't feel resentment. He felt ready. During those sacred morning hours, Marcus rediscovered his creativity. He experimented with sourdough starters. He developed a new bread recipe, combining techniques Elena taught him with flavors from his fine dining background. His hands, once again, created beauty. By month 2, Marcus started documenting his creations. He'd photograph the loaves, the crusts, the crumb structure, and post them on Instagram, not for validation, just to remember that he was still a creator. On day 120 of his 5 a.m. practice, Marcus received a direct message on Instagram. It was the owner of the Ashford, a boutique hotel opening downtown. Your bread is stunning. Would you be interested in discussing a position as head chef? Marcus stared at the message. Head chef. Not sous, not line. Head chef. The interview happened 3 days later. Marcus brought his portfolio, every dish, every loaf, every creation made during those morning hours. The hotel owner, Mr. Patel, flipped through the photos, impressed. Marcus, I've interviewed 20 chefs. All of them have experience, but you have something different. Hunger, passion. When can you start? Marcus wanted to cry. Instead, he smiled. 2 weeks. I need to give notice at my current job. Even a dishwashing job deserved respect.
6 months later, the Ashford's restaurant was featured in the city's top food magazine. Critics praised the innovative, soulful cuisine and the chef who combines technical precision with emotional depth. Marcus still woke up at 5 a.m., not because he had to, because those 2 hours were sacred. That's when he tested new menu ideas. That's when he innovated. That's when he remembered that success isn't about never falling. It's about what you build in the quiet hours when no one's watching. One morning, Elena visited his restaurant. She sat at the chef's table, and Marcus personally prepared every course. When she finished, she hugged him. You didn't need a job, Marcus. You needed those quiet morning hours to remember your gift. Marcus now mentors a young chef who recently lost his position. Last week he told him, "Meet me tomorrow at 5 a.m. I'll teach you something more valuable than recipes." My friend, Marcus's story is proof of something powerful. Tragedy doesn't define you. What you do in the silent hours before the world wakes up, that defines you. Here's the truth. Between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m., while everyone else is sleeping, you can reclaim yourself. You can rebuild. You can remember who you were before life knocked you down. Marcus lost his career, his love, his identity. But in those morning hours he found something more valuable, his purpose. So here's your challenge. Tonight, set your alarm for 5 a.m. Choose one thing you abandoned, one passion, one skill, one dream. Commit to it for 120 days, 2 hours every morning, no excuses, no negotiations. I promise you this, in 4 months your life won't look the same. Maybe you won't have Marcus's restaurant, but you'll have something better. You'll have yourself back. The person you used to be is waiting in the quiet dawn. Will you meet them tomorrow at 5 a.m.? Your future is being built right now. The only question is, will you be awake for it?